Nigga said all these school shootings. Where the fuck the ROTC be at? Yo.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down. I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion. I'm so cold-blooded. I fear nobody. I walk like a champion.
What's up, everybody? This is the Saratobi Sports Podcast, episode 111, coming to you live from Long Island, Baldwin, Long Island, to be more specific, at Regrown Recordings Studio.
You better get Pop Smoke.
Here in the U.S. of A. What's the zip code here, Matt?
Can you stop?
115. Matt has a business he has to advertise.
I'm about to say.
What are you doing?
I'm about to say, come on, man. I'm just trying to help somebody that's helping us.
All right.
This is crazy.
Next week when we have a fourth person in here, nobody know who he is. All right.
We got the GPS coordinates too.
There you go. Oh, hey, man, look. If you've hit the MAGA flag, you've gone too far. Oh boy! But as always, this is great. See, that's how you bring in a show. Damn it! To my right, a man that needs some introduction. He's currently wearing a red Rugrats hoodie with blonde hair, a beard that flows like a majestic mane. I'm talking about Dijon Mustard. John Mutu, everybody.
Hey guys, how's it going? Happy to be here. Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the performance tonight.
All right. And to my other right, a man that's not as soft-spoken, not wearing a red Rugrats hat, but instead, he walks with a cane, not because he needs to, but because he has to. Actually, did I get that wrong?
You did.
I did.
You messed up your own trope.
I did. It's okay. But you know why? It's okay? Because it's my trope. Anyway, the deacon of Demon Time, Mr. Worldwide West.
It's the way you're like holding this whiskey like it's in a glass.
Yep.
With like a stone in it.
Yep.
And just out here when like it's
A
not in this
stone.
Yeah, like a whiskey stone.
I know what you're talking
Like
about.
it's not in this fucking plastic cup. Shout out to Stone. Never forget.
It's a stone.
Yeah, motherfucking named Stone who played on the Harvard football team.
Jesus fucking
He was
Christ.
built like that door.
What's up, everybody?
Kind of going against the whole soft-spoken intro I just said. But okay, whatever. And to my far right,
How soft-spoken are we going?
a man that also needs no introduction because I already introduced him technically earlier. But the gabagool himself, Greg Postovich, Matt Barba.
Top of the morning.
Top of the morning indeed, even though we are recording this at nighttime.
We're not the Waynes.
But you know what? This is a good day. I enjoy coming here. I enjoy drinking the brews with the boys, even though, well, I mean, we're actually drinking a whole bunch of, we're drinking 3 different things. I'm drinking a Blue Moon. John's out here with the Canada Dry. Miles has his drink in his cup. You know, you're drinking something dark. You know, as John mentioned earlier, he was holding the glass a weird way. I swear Miles thinks he's a 1950s LA noir detective. You know.
Miles Kirko Bang Bros.
Wow.
Did you say what?
Kirko Bang Bros.
Oh, that's wild. That's a bar, though.
I like that.
Oh, my goodness. You like that?
I do.
Oh, boy.
You like that?
We'll get to him later.
Famous Kirks.
We'll get to him later because he was wilding. He was wilding on the sideline
Another
this
nigga
week.
named Curry.
Oh, boy. But you know what? We start off with the baloncestos, the basketballs, if you are not fluent in Spanish. We're currently watching basketball right now. Mavericks preseason, even though I don't know why. But yeah, big headlines this week, mostly affecting me.
Mostly.
If you haven't heard already, the Kyrie Irving's is not going to be playing basketball this season. Well, at least until further notice, until he gets vaxxed. But it doesn't look like he is. And yeah, so this is what we're going to talk about today. So yeah.
That was a really quick turnaround.
Yeah.
And how fast the headlines went, not the whole process, but from
It is
how
what it is.
quickly it went to KD and Harden meeting with upper management to discuss Kyrie. After it was like he straight up can't play, to if he can't practice and be with us for everything, he's just not going to be with us at all. 2, he's the Nets are not looking to sign him for an extension.
Yeah, I saw that headline too.
Yeah, that was pretty quick.
Yeah.
But I mean, at this point, it's hard to say it wasn't expected. Like, if you're the Nets in this situation, I mean, what, you just hope things change? Like, it doesn't look like COVID's going to end anytime soon. So it's either you hope that it's a government mandated vaccine, or he just decides to come around. Like, one thing Kyrie's not going to do is
Budge.
yeah. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah.
But
I mean, honestly, I honestly doubt there's going to be any like government involvement with
Agreed.
any vaccine related thing. You already see how divided America is on that whole topic, but we're not really here to discuss that. It's more or less like it's just always something with the Nets. You know what I'm saying? It's like, all right, they was trying to pursue a championship last year. Obviously, they were all healthy. They couldn't all stay on the court at the same time, and it just seemed like the stars just didn't align in that regard. And now it's like
the East is open again.
And now, yeah, basically. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily stay open. I still think that the Nets have to be the favorite with Harden and KD, but at the same time,
but
with Kyrie, they were unstoppable. And Kyrie not being a part of the team, it just makes it so like, all right, no extension. Like they're not looking to re-sign him. Him not being there, he's an integral part, regardless of what you say about the man. You know, he can hoop. I don't get it.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know if it's a religious thing. I guess it is a religious thing, but.
So I've the point that I'm bringing up is Jamel Hill was talking about this the other day when Andrew Wiggins was over here bitching and moaning about how I got bullied into taking the vaccine. No, you wanted to play basketball and get a check, so that's why you had to take the vaccine. But she was talking about how he was saying he wants to do natural stuff and stuff like that. Now, Kyrie hasn't been, I don't think he's been noticing stuff like that. But it's one of those things where it's like, you say that, but, and this is the point Jamel Hill made, if he tweaks his knee and needs to go get a cortisone shot in the back, he's not going to be in the back like, what is it that you're injecting into my knee that's going to make it feel better so I can play? And the reason why he was said of being worried about the vaccine was from a negative reaction to Tylenol. So, again, if it's religious reasons, cool. Y'all know how I feel about that anyway with the Hasidic Jews and their vaccine stuff.
Yeah.
But as we discussed before with the activism stuff and when Kyrie needed to take mental health days and all this stuff like that, he's said before he's comfortable walking away from basketball. And he is a great player, and it's one of those things that, like, I personally feel like in team sports, and one of my clients brought it up as well. He's like, you're playing golf, you're playing tennis, do whatever you want. But if, like, this is a team sport, and now you're putting yourself in a situation where you're either not playing home games or you're going to wait for something else to happen, like either the NBA mandates something or something like that, which isn't going to happen either. And then you're messing up your team's chemistry. Now you're messing up rotations. You're doing all these things for people who have been busting their ass all season. And it's a shame because he is such a good player.
Right.
But you're at the point where it's like, do you? And that's the thing. He has a resume that if he walked away, no one's going to question that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Like end of the day, we all know that the man can hoop. It's just like everybody is
arguably the greatest ball handler of all time.
Yep. That's
like has his ring. You know, it is what it is.
Honestly, I mean, I hope this is not the last time that we see Kyrie Irving in a Nets uniform. Really, because I just noticed this nigga
Nets uniform.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Just because super team.
Well, right, but at the same time, it's just like I know how good this man has been throughout his career, and I think he receives a lot of slander for a lot of different shit. And the vaccine, fine, whatever y'all feel about it is how y'all feel about it. But I just don't think, and this is just my thoughts on the vaccine in general. Like when it comes to y'all bread, like why, like oh my goodness, there's so many people in the world that would just take advantage of this opportunity that y'all have to play in this league that is like probably the most competitive to even get into. And it's I just can't really rationalize it. But it's not for me to rationalize because it's how Kyrie feels, and you know what? He's entitled to feeling how he does. Mm-hmm. You know, and I couldn't imagine really how Nets fans feel about it, you know, especially because it seems like since Kyrie has put on a Nets uniform, don't worry, I'm about to tag you in, bro. I'm literally about to tag you in. You know, since Kyrie's put on a Nets uniform, you know, it just seems like there's always been some form of controversy around him, whether it's from the media, whether it's from himself. Like, I don't know.
Controversy or not playing.
Well,
It's everything else but his performance on the court that's
Aye.
getting talked about.
Yep. And then that's kind of that, because this would have been his third season as a Net, and yeah, I don't know. JT, what are your thoughts?
All right. Strap in, boys. As the resident Net fan of the pod, I've had to deal with this, for the past few weeks. So let's break it down from the
We're
beginning.
Up by 70. That's crazy. I'm sorry, but just
You're not
70
sorry. It's
70
okay.
is ridiculous.
It's okay. I mean, it's preseason, John.
Still 70.
No, it's preseason.
70.
It's preseason.
When has that ever happened?
Niggas don't care. I'm pretty sure we can find a time in
the past 10 years
in NBA history. Why's it got to be 10 years? It happens before.
Motherfuckers wasn't even scoring that much before anyway. Like, come on. All right, I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'll
boy.
move the mic away from me.
Oh boy. But anyways, yeah, the Kyrie situation, it's an interesting one, and it's definitely divided. I think a lot of a lot of fans, like within the fan base, especially on Twitter. I pride myself in being as impartial as I can with a lot of things. We have a lot of reactionary fans. We have a lot of fans that are pro Kyrie, and it's hard to, before all this, before the things of the past 3 or 4 days happened, it was more of a case of, all right, how do you be pro Kyrie and pro vax, right? It's like that's that struggle, right? I always thought, personally, I thought, all right, just get vaxxed. You know what I'm saying? But this is where Kyrie messed up, right? And I don't know if you guys read the Shams article that dropped this week, kind of explaining or giving more insight on the situation, right? According to the article, right, Kyrie is not anti-vax, which, if that is true, it's a little bit more comforting, But at the same time, in the article, it also said he has no plans of getting vaxxed and that he wants to be a voice for the voiceless. So here's the thing, right? Kyrie Irving, as you know, I've defended him on this podcast for things that he has been unjustly criticized for. He's a great humanitarian. He is a phenomenal basketball player. He does so many good things, not only for the community, for the WNBA, et cetera, et cetera.
A philanthropist.
A philanthropist, if you will. That being said, you can also criticize people that do good. Like, just because somebody does 1,200 good things doesn't mean that you can't criticize them for the one thing that they do wrong, And in this situation, I think Kyrie is wrong for this. On media day, he said he wasn't there because he wasn't vaxxed, right, at Barclays Center. And on the Zoom call, he said, respect my privacy, blah, blah, blah. And then on his Instagram Live, he said everything will come out in due time, right? Okay, cool. Why is it that if you're saying everything will come out in due time and you want to, don't want to bring drama and all this other stuff, right? If you want to be a voice for the voiceless, as the Shams article said, why have you not said anything since media day publicly, right? Because in the article it says Kyrie is sitting out because he is supporting the people that have lost jobs or can't go to work because they're being forced to take the vaccine. Which is like, all right, fine. If that's the case, that should come from Kyrie Irving's mouth, not him leaking it to Shams to have it sent through an article in The Athletic, right? That message needs to come from you, because we see time and time again the message always gets mixed up. The narrative gets messed up when it's not said specifically from the horse's mouth, right? So that's where it is. So Kyrie is choosing to be a martyr for this, which is, like I said, it's fine. If his personal choice, he doesn't want to get vaxxed, fine, whatever. These are the consequences to those actions, right? If you want to be a martyr, fine. But he should have said that from the beginning, that if this was the case, instead of having this drag on from Media Day, which was almost 2.5 weeks ago, right, up until now. If that was the case, you want to be a martyr, then you should have done that. So then everybody would have known what your prerogative was, and nobody would be questioning every single day, is Kyrie going to get vaxxed? Is he going to be playing home games? Is he only going to be playing away games? And putting your teammates in an awful situation, right? That's really what it comes down to. So as a Nets fan, it's upsetting what happened, like this Kyrie situation. But also at the same time, you have to look at the positives, that the Nets are still a finals contending team. I don't know why this whole doom and gloom situation is upon people. Like, oh, the Nets this and Nets that. I'm like, well, they still have arguably the best duo in the NBA in Kevin Durant and James Harden, when healthy. Their roster is significantly better than it was last season with the additions of Paul Millsap and Patty Mills. You get LaMarcus Aldridge back. You get DeAndre Bembry, who's a very, very good perimeter defender. You get Javon Carter, who's a very good defender, right? You got an absolute bucket in Cam Thomas, right? So the team is going to be all right, In terms of Kyrie Irving, it's hard because, you support the guy. He's a great basketball player, great philanthropist. But he fucked up in this situation. And it's fair to say that. He fucked up because all he had to do was say what he wanted, right? Say exactly where his stance was and what he is. Because as we know, like back when the bubble was happening, he said he has no problem stepping away, right? Which is cool. If you have no problem, then say that. Don't leave everybody in the dark. And that's where Kyrie Irving messed up. Do I hate him for that? No. It's annoying. But I'm not going to be like, oh my God, it's like he's a terrible person, blah, 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 blah. Like, it is what it is. The Nets handled this. I don't think the Nets could have handled this any better, to be honest. Management stepped in. They shielded the players from all these questions and things like that. So
the players had to have been involved, though, in terms of, like, management decisions.
To an extent.
Like, because
I think just talking to Harden and
because
KD,
Harden was
that's pretty much
Harden and KD were
Right.
taught. Management talked to them.
Yeah.
Like they talked to them, but the decision did not come with Kevin Durant and James Harden.
Of course not.
It
but
was come from Sean Marks and Joe Tsai.
Right, of
So-
course. But I'm saying, like, they definitely had to be in those conversations.
Oh yeah, no, there was
where it's
yeah.
like if they went into the locker room and was like, y'all want him back? If the motherfucker said yes, they weren't gonna be like, all right, we're gonna move on.
But I think it's one of those things where, like, I think it was the right thing for the Nets to put their foot down, draw the line in the sand, and say, "Yo, if you're not gonna," like selfishly, I would love to have, even if Kyrie can't play at home, right? Selfishly, 41 games of Kyrie is better than 0 games of Kyrie, right? But I respect the Nets for putting the line in the sand. It's like, we don't want a part-time player, we want somebody that's going to be here for the long haul, and if you're healthy and capable, do it. Now, in the grand scheme of things, the only reason why this is a problem is obviously because of the New York City mandate. If the Nets still played in Jersey, we wouldn't be having this conversation. Nobody would give a shit. Because we know
Jay-Z.
Exactly, right? Like, we know that the 96% of the league is vaxxed right now, which means 4%. We already know exactly one person who was not anti-vax, but isn't vaxxed, which is Bradley Beal. Right. But Bradley Beal has no problems playing because
he's in Washington.
It's a shame because I was still on board on the Mavs trading for him, and now I'm like, let's not.
So it is what it is. It's not like if the Nets didn't play in Brooklyn, this would be a non-story. But because they do, and it is, hey. So it is it's a selfish move in the fact that I don't want to use the word selfish, but it's a selfish move in the fact that if he was going to stand for a cause, right, he should have let his teammates know, his organization know beforehand so that nobody's left in the dark about it. Nobody's answering questions like, hey, guys, I feel really strongly about this. I'm going to sit out, and I'm going to do this, this, and this, in my spare time to help, give a voice to the voiceless, as he said. And I think that'd go a lot further than him basically going 0 dark 30 on everything for the past 2 weeks.
It's one of those things where it's like, if you say, like, especially Kyrie, it's like, dude, you say everything with your chest, and now this is the one thing you don't want to say with your chest.
Bingo.
That affects your teammates.
Well,
Bingo.
More or less, I mean, he's a dude that, and he's even said and been on the record saying, I want my privacy to be respected. And I mean, like, all right, like, we've been on the record saying, like, all right, like, nigga, like, we're gonna know if you're not vaccinated. Hence,
And we knew that
Right.
when that first preseason game against the Bucks, all right, Kyrie Irving is not vaxxed. Then the question became, is he going to be there for the home opener against the Hornets? But it's still leaving the question in the air, which is a real annoying part. So, it's like I said, respect the privacy, everything like that. But if this is not the hill I expected Kyrie Irving to die on, right? Like if you would have asked me, like, all right, if Kyrie Irving's going to sit out a year of basketball, retire from basketball for a cause, I think, something to do with Native Americans, something to do with Black Lives Matter, something to do with police brutality, systematic racism, something, right? Vaccinations is at the absolute last thing I'd have thought Kyrie Irving would die on the hill for, especially considering if it is true that he's especially considering if he is pro-vaccine, to also do this, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Another point Jamal made was like, for him to say, like, you're going to give voice to a voiceless if he's talking about his own communities, COVID ripped through the Native American and Black communities.
Yep.
So it's one of those things where it's like, who is the voiceless you're talking about? Because last I checked, anti-vax people are pretty fucking loud. So
And
if you're gonna say this again, we've been especially on this podcast, we have been behind basically all of Kyrie's activism.
Yep.
I don't think there's anything that Kyrie did outside of basketball up until this point that we were like, nah, like we're not with it. We were behind that. We're behind him talking about this mental health shit, both after Kobe and then after everything that went on with George Floyd and everything like that. We've been here. So now for, like you said, for this to be the thing, and then also because we don't know any details, it talk about, like, he can say he doesn't care about his legacy all he wants. That's fine. But it's like, if you're just someone who enjoys basketball, you're sitting here like, all right, now we're taking you away from someone who contributed a lot to the game and still can and also do so much more. But it's like, what is the play here?
that's like that, and that's honestly what it is, right? So
Who is the voiceless?
and you know what happens? The worst thing that happens in a situation like this, when he doesn't get in front of the narrative and he doesn't say it with himself, and he's saying it's going to be a voice for the voiceless. Look who latches on to you as an ally, right? You're seeing Ted Cruz tweet in support of Kyrie. Donald Trump Jr. tweeting in support of him, right? You have all these Republican, right wing, and all these people that are so anti what Kyrie has been about for the past few years, and now they're piggybacking off of him and using him as a tool to further an agenda. And there's no way you can tell me Kyrie does not, see that as a negative thing. So that's what's the real confusing thing is. You're seeing, if you want to be a voice for the voiceless, fine, but look the audience, and look who the characters you're playing into when you're talking about the voiceless. Because I don't know, there's a lot of them anti-vax people, and the people that are opposed to getting the vaccines to go to work seem to have a pretty big voice.
That's
Sure.
what I'm
I
saying,
mean,
right?
we know how it is, especially with speaking with the media and shit. And honestly, Kyrie got to do a better job, and since he's been in New York, and I don't know if it's because of the whole New York media thing, and I don't know what exactly it is, but it just seems as if since he's gotten here, he just don't know how to speak to the media, and the media is maybe because he's getting so much media coverage now. Like it's been tough. It's been tough on him.
But you would think he kind of, would be kind of used to it because, right, he starts his career, right, not a lot of media coverage. Then LeBron comes there, right? So wherever LeBron is, that's where all the media coverage is going to be all the time, right? So you get used to that. Then he goes to Boston. Boston's a pretty big size media, market,
I would
right?
say so.
I think it's what, top 5 at least in terms of sports markets.
I would say so.
So
Yeah.
it's
'Cause they
not,
win.
yeah, it's not like he's been in like OKC.
New York, Philly, LA,
Yeah.
Boston.
You have
well,
Chicago up there,
Chicago.
Miami.
Yeah.
It's not like he's been in, Indiana or OKC his entire career and randomly came here. He's been in the spotlight before.
And
I
he
think
grew up in Jersey, so it
Yeah.
gives you a little bit of a.
I think it's the case of he's never shied away from speaking with his chest on things he cares about. So why is this?
Who cares that much about it?
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is this the thing that you're suddenly quiet about, but you're also taking time away from the game to do? It just doesn't make any sense. But like I said, don't hate the guy. It is what it is. You can't cry over spilled milk.
This is more than spilled milk, though.
Look.
I think this is more than spilled
I
milk,
think it's.
yeah.
I think it's more
Look,
than spilled milk.
I mean, I'm
Not
talking
just for the
about
favorites,
it.
but you got to think like, and my thing is, not only is you're doing it from a basketball perspective, like I said, the East is more open with Kyrie not playing than it is with him playing, and the other thing is that like that team aspect. Like I'm sure there was a lot of people who signed going, we have KD, Kyrie, and Harden, sign me up for a ring. I'm going to bust my ass to make sure I get this ring. It should be relatively easy or easier than if I was somewhere else. So now you get all these people who's out here like, this wasn't really what I signed up for.
Who's all these people? I mean,
And generally, you got to think like, even though you have KD and Harden, again, it's people who have not been fucking healthy. So now you're doing 2 people that haven't been healthy. 3 people, it's like, all right, what are the chances all 3 of them are going to be hurt at one time? But 2 people, it makes it a little more to be like, all right, this will end up like the Rockets Harden's last year.
Yeah, nah, I don't know, man.
Yeah.
I feel like this whole Kyrie shit is just so ass to me. Like everything about it just doesn't sit well. I mean, I get it. Like he did what he did for his own personal reasons, but at the same time, it's like you put it perfectly. Like,
he handled this poorly.
The thing about Kyrie is that he has the chance when you have that platform and when you're that big of a superstar, you have the chance to control the narrative about what is said about you.
Yep.
And I think that with everything that has happened since he's came to New York, he's just lacked severely in terms of getting in front of anything, which is why the media is on his ass about everything.
And it's very simple for him to do it. Like that's like he doesn't even have to be a long-winded anything. He could post a statement and just say, "Hey, I'm doing this, this, and this," and that's fine, right? Because at least
gonna respect it or they not. Like it is
exactly.
what it is.
But at least it's coming from you, not from the words of a reporter.
Yeah,
and that's the thing.
Because who even knows? Like, all right, whatever. That the whole Shams report came out. I don't even know to what extent. Like, how am I supposed to believe that?
And then you cross-reference that with the whole Matt Sullivan thing piece from a few weeks ago, where his aunt was on the record saying some things. Was the president of his like foundation. So it's like, all right, well, who do we believe in? Because that article was saying Kyrie was talking about some like crazy anti-vax devil stuff, right? So that's the real problem in this is that you don't get out in front of the narrative. So then the story takes on a mind of its own,
right.
And now. The train is up for station. Now we're in the situation.
It just doesn't make sense. Because why are you gonna report anything to Shams? Shams gonna tell us. Shams gonna tell us before he tell anybody else.
But that's the thing. Why are you leaking in general? If this is your stance, you say that. Don't have it leaked through the media. All right? Don't do that. This is your chance to get it on get it on the record. This is what you're doing, and you're sticking to it. Fine. But now you still have people wondering, all right, well, how much truth is there to this, right? So I will say, though, and from a Nets fan perspective, I've talked to other Nets fans about this. Look, this is the best roster this team has ever had in its team history, right? Like, that's why, when I say I'm not crying over spilled milk, it's because Kyrie with the Nets, yes, the Nets are clear-cut favorites for the title, but with KD and Harden, you're still a championship caliber roster. I understand the injury history between both of them. I get it, but at the end of the day, you can only control what you can control as a fan, which is absolutely nothing. And so instead of crying over the fact that Kyrie isn't here, I'll just focus on the fact that look, you still have two of arguably the greatest basketball players of our generation, coupled with a tremendous. Tremendous
support.
Exactly. You got Patty Mills, Paul Millsap, LaMarcus Aldridge. You got Cam Thomas, Bembry, Javon Carter.
Blake Griffin not still there?
Blake Griffin is still there too, and Nick Claxton. All right, so there's a lot. Joe Harris, Joey Buckets.
You still got Brown.
So of course, the 6'4" center god himself.
Yeah.
So like I said, it's the Kyrie situation aside. Nets fans shouldn't be panicking. I mean, these niggas are gonna, even if they load manage, the roster's still good enough to get to at least 50 wins. So. It is what it is. And that's that. Kyrie's a good guy, but this time he fucked up. It is. Yeah. And it's not, and we're not, and I don't think we should turn our backs on Kyrie either. He just, it's one of those things where you tell your boy, yo, dog, you fucked up. and you keep it moving.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's it for us this week, episode 110. Make sure to follow us at Saratobi Sports on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, like the Facebook page, subscribe to the YouTube channel, do all the stuff, tell a friend and tell a friend. And you guys can follow me on Twitter at Offended Narwhal. Guys.
Word to the wise, don't be racist, man, or homophobic, or transphobic, or did I miss one? I think I missed something. Or misogynistic.
There you go.
Yeah, don't do that shit.
Just be a better person.
Yeah, just be nice. Love people.
Pretty much.
But what if I hate people?
Well. You're the person that said nematodes are people too, so
yeah, nematodes.
Yeah,
which means nematodes are also a thing I hate.
Wow.
There's a lot of contradictions here.
It is, but that's the beauty of this show. All I got is this.
Nice.
We'll catch y'all next week.
I got ice in my veins. Walk like a champion, champion, champion. I'm so cold-blooded, I fear nobody. Ain't no letting down, I won't let you down. 'Cause I got ice in my veins. I talk like a champion, like a champion.